Man. You guys may just be coming off of the last video where I left us on a little cliffhanger where I said I'm looking at a new truck the very next day. Now, with that being said, that video, I actually filmed it probably a week and a half ago. And I just posted it last night because YouTube was playing with me, bro. It was playing with my monetization and didn't want to let the AdSense account verify and yada yada. And, you know, we're going to need this bread for the journey that we trying to go on. But anyways, look, got the cum dog behind me. We getting ready to send this thing, not send it, we getting ready to take it out to Oklahoma City. We got a load to pick up. Today is Saturday. I just got back home from the Bahamas this morning with my beautiful wife. We went out there for a week on a cruise and, you know, just take a little load off. And we back now, so it's time to get back to work. And the first thing we're going to do is recoup some money by taking, oh man, I ain't going to say that. But first thing we're going to do is take a load out to Oklahoma City in this bad boy. Because if you guys just saw what was in the corner right here, we finally pulled the trigger on something massive. And it's not ready yet. But it will be. And when it is, the cum dog gonna be sitting for a little bit. But I'm not really gonna talk too much right away. I'm gonna just show you guys what we got. And we've been talking about multi-haul for probably the last 5 months. Been talking about we're gonna upgrade to multi-haul. Well, guys, we didn't know if it was gonna be a semi. We didn't know if it was gonna be a bus and then convert it to haul and tow. We didn't know if we was gonna buy like a box truck, convert it to haul and tow. We didn't know what we was gonna do. Okay, I even thought about turning the cum dog into a dually and doing a gooseneck trailer and doing multi-haul like that. But I said, nah, I would much rather have 2 trucks. So that way, if one is down, I can use the other one to make money and I'm not just sitting. So that's what I did. And we finally pulled the trigger. When I say we, I mean me and my wife. We've been working at this for so long, working our butts off, trying to upgrade our lives for our family. And we finally did it. So without further ado, let me introduce y'all to the cum dog's sister, Big Jane. Big Jane. I love it. Yes, so you saw it here. We got a 2001 Volvo. This has the D12 engine in it. It has paperwork for an overhaul that was done. So that was a really good feeling. I picked this up from a guy actually out in Tip City, Ohio, I believe. I actually had a truck lined up to buy out in Columbus, Ohio, and I went out there and I looked at the truck. I was actually coming back from a load that I took out to Pennsylvania in the Cum Dog, and I stopped by, and I didn't have nobody with me, but I still stopped by and looked at the truck. And man, the frame was just absolutely shot. So I passed on the truck, and I was so defeated because I was really stuck on getting that truck. And on my way home, I just happened to look at Marketplace, and this guy had this truck posted in my budget. So I stopped by and seen that truck about 2 hours later into my drive. And maybe an hour later into the drive. Columbus ain't that far from me, maybe 2.5 hours. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But anyways, I swung by, I seen this truck, and the frame looked way better than the frame on the other truck. So I test drove it, and now aesthetically, this truck is a little bit more beat up than the first truck, but structurally, it is way more sound, and obviously that's what is important. We can work on the aesthetics as we go. It's a lot easier and simpler, and we can do that while we're working. But this truck sounded good, ran good, drove good. A couple little things here and there that definitely need fixed on it. But we pulled the trigger. I told the guy, I said, man, give me 3 hours. Let me go get my wife so she could drive me. I'll come back and I'll pick it up. And that's what we did. We shook hands, made the deal, went to the bank, got the money out. And yeah, the guy, his last name was Schaefer. I forget his first name. Super nice guy. He was super accommodating. Followed me to the local truck stop just to make sure that it ran and drove fine, because he said it's been sitting for a month, so he just wanted to make sure it ran and drove fine. And then yeah, it drove perfectly fine the hour and a half home. And yeah, man, I'm pretty happy with the purchase so far. Again, I'll go around the truck with you guys and show you the aesthetic things that it needs, but super happy with the truck. I do own this truck free and clear, so there's no payments on this truck. So when I tell you guys about the income and stuff later on, if I go through that, I don't know if I will, there will be no truck payment because I own this B. So now, officially, the Cum Dog Workhorse has a partner in crime, Big Jane. And so it's pretty obvious. I named the truck the Cum Dog because it's Cummins, and that's my dog, man. And then, I don't know, Cum Dog just sounded kind of crazy, and I wasn't going to keep it, but it stuck, okay? Big Jane, okay. I'll tell you how I came up with that name. My wife's middle name is Jane, and that woman is absolutely everything to me. She has been here with me through everything, the lowest lows and the highest highs. So I just felt like doing this, joining this RV transport game and trying to grow it and seeing where we take it. She's been with me through all of it, been so supportive, so had to dedicate this one to her. So I love you, wife, and we got Big Jane out here now. Big Jane. Speaking of which, hang on. What you doing? Yeah. Just talk about you. Yep. But anyway, so let's go through this bad boy and show you what we got here. First, I'm gonna show you the interior. Again, this ain't aesthetically, it's gonna need some work, but mechanically, it's solid. So let's go. All right. So first thing, it needs vacuum pretty bad. I've already taken out all the guy's junk except that type of stuff. The seat, pretty shot. We'll throw a seat cover on that bad boy. One thing that is super sick, I mean, it's all pretty sick. If we're thinking about disgusting stuff, we need to vacuum this thing. It needs a strong detail. That piece of freaking plastic is off. That goes right there. So I gotta figure out something to do there. It's very dusty, but it has bunk beds in here. No mattresses, so that's cool. I wouldn't use these mattresses anyways, but bunk beds. So my wife wants to come and hang out, or one of my sons or whatever, they want to pull up, you can pull up. But yeah, so one thing it does have is some type of electrical issue that does not prohibit driving or anything like that. But let me see here. Let me show you what it does. It's like when you put the key in, and hopefully it starts because this has been sitting for 2 weeks. When you put the key in and turn it to auxiliary, it doesn't do anything. Like, it's not getting power almost. But if you keep cranking, it fires right up. And then the lights come on. And then it dies, right? And then you wait just a second, start it right back up. And it stays on and doesn't die. So it has some type of electrical issue going on. And he told me that right up front. He was like, this is what it does, but it comes on, turns off, turns right back on. You can drive it all day. And he was right, it did drive all day. And then the fuel gauge only goes to halfway. So it'll stay at half full until it reaches half full or less, and then it starts to go down. That's not a massive deal, honestly. I'm not too worried about that. Let's see here, what else do we got? So if we do the headlights do work, the horns, oh, the horn works today. The horn was not working last time I was in here, so that's good. What about the air horn? I don't think the air horn works at all, but that's okay. As long as we got one working, that'll do. Let's see here. The turn signals, or the windshield wipers, were not working. So when I turn the windshield wipers on, it doesn't do anything. So I got to figure out if that's a motor. It does kind of sound like the motor's off track. Okay. So I have to deal with that because that won't pass DOT. Oh, I was getting ready. Okay, all right. I wanted the beep and the stop. All right, so horn's fine, which I thought we had to fix. We don't anymore. Okay, cool. Windshield wipers, we definitely got to fix because we need that. Let's look back here. So on the exterior, I'm sure if any of you guys have been in a truck, you know about these windows. Okay, like not windows, they're little vent holes. So these little vent holes have like rust built up in them, and they were leaking all right here. So when I got this, there was a mattress sitting here, and obviously it was disgusting. I wasn't going to use it. They had tools and stuff sitting on it, but this area was soaked. It was completely soaked, and you can see that it has like water residue right there. So I'm gonna obviously have to go through and clean this before I put a mattress here. But what I did was I went outside of the truck and I siliconed the whole outside. So I will not be opening these. I'm just gonna leave that as it is. It's not something that I even care about, not something that I would ever even open, because to be honest, I'm not opening vent holes for bugs and stuff to get in. I'm just gonna run the air or the heat. So I did that on both sides. Cool. So other stuff that we got going on. There was no seatbelt right here, no seatbelt latch here. I wasn't sure what was going on, and then I realized these seats are not the factory seats. These are the factory seat belts, I believe, but there was no seatbelt right here. But then I kind of forget, it is in here somewhere. I just sat it somewhere, I don't know, but I did sit. They did come with it. It was in one of the drawers, so I found it. But yeah, it's not the prettiest thing to look at, but we'll get it there. We got a spot for mini fridge or whatever. And then yeah, again, the bunk beds, 2-story bed. I'm super hyped on that. We'll have to get an ELD in here because it's 2001. We literally just missed the cutoff for not having to have an ELD, but whatever, we'll run it. You know, it got to be legal. And hopefully, since we're running a bigger truck, I'm gonna hope I don't gotta go as far. It's kind of my thought process. I mean, I will go far. I just hope I don't have to go as far as often, because like, let's say if, and maybe my thought process is wonky here, but I'm thinking like, okay, say I'm going to Oklahoma City tomorrow, right? After expenses, that load is probably gonna actually put in my pocket like $750. Now, let's say I took a load there in the semi, I'm hoping that would put $1,500 in my pocket, you know? Obviously it's gonna be more fuel, but I will have a backhaul as well. So maybe it's more money, I don't know. But with that logic, I'm hoping that maybe I can work less, or if I'm not working less, at least stay closer, because I'm not going to be able to really push the limits of the logs like you can in the pickup truck. Like, you know, when you stop in a pickup truck and deliver, you can take your placards off and then do what you want. And in semi, you can't really do that. So I'm hoping, and if not, if I gotta do the same distances or whatever, then that's what I'm gonna do, because we gotta get this bread. But again, one thing that is very, very great about our situation is we don't have truck payment. So if we want this thing to sit, we can let it sit. And similar to the Cum Dog, my thought process was, if I buy kind of an older truck, yeah, maybe I'll have more problems, maybe I won't, but I'm hoping it's cheaper to fix. I'm hoping it's easier to fix. And again, no payment. So, and who knows, if that logic is flawed, then we'll fix it later and we'll get a better truck. But for now, I'm happy with what I got. So you heard this bad boy crank up. Oh, and also it has the Eaton 10-speed in it. That's probably the only way I'd want to go, just because that's for one, I've never drove anything else really different. I mean, I've driven automatic, but I've never driven 13-speed. I've never driven 18-speed. I've been in trucking like 8 years now, and I've only driven manuals. I've only either driven manual 10 speeds or automatics, and manual 6 speeds, like the medium duty trucks. That's what I actually started in, delivering for Pepsi. That's where I got my CDL. If anybody who didn't know, I went to work at Pepsi in my hometown of Logansport, Indiana, and I got my CDL there. And then I moved down by Indianapolis shortly after that. So that's kind of where I've been ever since, just doing my trucking thing down here. And yeah, so let me get back to showing you guys the things around the truck that still need tidied up, things that we're 1000% gonna have to do before we put this bad boy on the road, and things that we can do a little bit after we get going. All right, I'm gonna start at the back just because I'm back here. I'm not the biggest fan of the mud flap lights, just because solely what they actually already have going on here, and that is when a tire blows out, these tires destroy so much stuff because they're so heavy, so much velocity. I would love to get the lights that just go back right here, just right in the center, and then just do traditional mud flaps back here, just like normal. So not a big deal, and they do work right now, so I will leave them for the time being, but that is something that's 1000% getting changed out fairly quickly. Okay, next, the tires. I have one tire here that I believe is 1000% out of spec, and it has some dry rot. And then also I have a tire over there that is questionable that I should probably change because I don't want to blow out on the road. So those are two things that 1000% this one is going to need changed, I believe, before we get on the road. So at a minimum, this one is going to get swapped out, and maybe one over there. The other ones aren't the prettiest, but they look great, so we'll just keep that. Okay, next, it looks like just what I was telling you back there, maybe a tire exploded and destroyed some of this stuff, because we got no steps here anymore, and a homemade strap, it looks like, that probably needs painted because it's getting rusty. And then we do have, I mentioned frame rust earlier, this is the only spot on the whole frame that has rust on it, as far as like a little deeper than surface rust. So that is something that I will address, and I would like to address that fairly soon, because I don't want it to go on too long and get out of hand. So we'll have to unbolt this stuff and then expose that and see what we got going and make sure it's repairable and repair it. Next, the whole side skirt is gone. Now, it kind of makes the truck look crazy, especially with the step missing. I wish at a minimum I had the step, and maybe I'll put like some diamond plate or something right here. But outside of that, I'm not too worried about the side skirt being gone, and I'll tell you why. Like, it does look kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie to you, but also I can climb up under there way easier with it gone. I mean, maybe that's crazy to say, or maybe you guys are gonna be like, oh no, it looks dumb, you need to fix it or whatever. The only thing I feel like I want to make look better is the step, because the rest of it I am not too worried about. Like, for instance, there is obviously some type of leak right here, okay? Some type of oil leak happening or whatever, and I want to be able to climb up under here. So like, let's say this skirt is on, it's going to go all the way down to here, which is a foot off the ground. And without that, I got all the room in the world to get under there. So in my opinion, I'm cool with leaving that off. I'm not gonna lie to you. So that's what I'm gonna do for now, at least. We got a lot of cracking on the fiberglass of the hood, so I'm not too sure if this is repairable or not. I'm not too familiar with fiberglass, so I don't know if I can sand that down, paint it, you know, fix this crack right here because there's a tiny crack. I'm not too sure. I'll have to ask somebody about that, but that's not a big deal at all. You know, it just gives it character in my opinion. So another thing that we got out here is the mirror. So this mirror cover is cracked. When I got the truck, this mirror cover didn't even exist, but it came with it. It came with an extra one, so I already repaired that. This one, it didn't come with two, it only came with one, so I have to find one of these and repair it. Again, not a big deal. It can go on the road just like that. It's not gonna hurt anything, but we don't want to look super junky rolling down the road. Next is right here, this little area above the air tanks. I think it looks a little bit junky as well. So obviously the rust on the air tanks, I'd like to sand that down, clean it up, and then respray it. And then also get like some type of cover or fabricate some type of cover to go right there, just so it doesn't look like something obviously is apparently missing. But yeah, so that is it for those. Oh, and then right here, let me tell you what I was telling you guys. I don't know if you can see it, but up close it looks way worse than what it does far away. But I silicone the whole outside of both of those just so we could prevent any further water damage on the inside. This one wasn't even leaking. I just did it for preventative maintenance. But yeah, so then over here, similar thing. Oh, and this is what I was telling you guys about the side skirt. So the side skirt would go exactly where this is, down. So it would cover all that and it would tie up all this space, so I wouldn't be able to get in there. So I don't know that I like the idea of that, and I don't know how much these side skirts cost, but I'm assuming it's probably not cheap. But I don't know, it doesn't look that terrible to me. Maybe it does. Maybe you guys are like, oh my god, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Yeah, it might look bad, I don't know. But I don't know, I don't feel like changing it. I feel like having that space open, I just feel like it'll be so much easier to maintain with that open. Air leaks, anything, and just be able to kneel over, get a flashlight under there and see what's going on. Okay, so now up here, I have no idea what's going on here. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't really look at this. I have no idea what's going on with this. I don't know why this part of the catwalk is just strapped here. I don't think it's necessary. Like, if this step is solid, there's no handle right here. There usually is a handle that you grab right here. But in my opinion, if this step is solid, step, and then you can just step over to the catwalk. So I'm probably gonna take this off because it looks like it's at risk of falling off in the first place. And the last thing I want is this falling off and a guy on a motorcycle hitting it or smacking somebody's car or something like that. And then over here, again, I think this is just another product of a tire exploding, hitting this, and I mean, that's obviously what happened, because look at the back of the tank. So these tires, man, they just do destruction when they explode. So that's what that is. So what I would do is, because yeah, this stuff is just hanging loose, and it looks like, yeah, I don't know, maybe punch these rivets out. I don't know exactly where. Yeah, these rivets, drill these rivets out, and then just bend that metal back and run bolts through so those stairs are sturdy. And then yeah, paint that up and call it good. And then maybe on that other side, just maybe take them off. I don't know, we'll figure it out. And then let's see here, it has a new muffler on it, a new stack, but the actual hanger or the mount is pretty rusty. That's not a big deal. That's something that can easily be repaired by me. The back of the cab is starting to show a bunch of signs of surface rust, Maybe some of it a little deeper than surface rust, but it's not punching through the cab. So come through here with, you know, wire wheel or sandpaper, and then just, I don't know, repaint this with something just to get it to slow down or stop. But all in all, you know, for what I paid for the truck, I'm pretty hyped. I mean, the airbags are good. They air up just fine. The air compressor works good. The bags seem to be in good shape. They're not too, I don't see too much cracking or anything like that. The drive shaft looks good. I didn't feel too much play in anything while I was driving. The steering wheel felt a little loose. Not the steering wheel, the actual steering physically felt a little loose. Not something I'm too concerned about, but we will address that, whether that's the steering box or something of that nature. But yeah, mainly I would just love to get this step looking a little bit better, because, you know, I want to look presentable when I go out places, and I don't want dealerships to be like, man, it's a junky truck pulling up. But yeah, so tell me what you guys think. The truck, I think the dash says 400,000 miles. It does not have 400,000 miles. It has way more than that. The guy gave me a second dash, and he told me about that. He said the dash that's in it is not the correct dash, and he gave me the old dash. I think the old dash said 800,000 on it. So I don't really know how many miles this had on it, to be honest, because the dash that he got, he said was used. The original dash he pulled out was the original dash. It was 800,000 mile dash. Again, the truck was overhauled. I have the overhaul paperwork that they did on it. He gave me that. That was pretty sweet. But yes, it has a ton of miles on it. But again, as long as it runs and drives, I figure if I can even get 8 loads out of this truck, it's gonna pay me back really quick. So I'm not too worried about it. And then if it takes a crap, then we'll fix it, because we do your own maintenance over here. We do our own maintenance over here. Or we'll part it out and get all our money back. So I'm sure there's a lot of good parts on this truck that people would need. So yeah, that's what we got going on. And I tell you guys, it has the D12 in it, the D12 engine. Did I even pop the hood? Let me pop the hood real quick. Oh my goodness. All right. So we do got a couple of things going on here. For one, this hose keeps like popping out a little bit. So I don't know what exactly I have to do to keep that in there, or if that's broke. I'll have to do some research, but it won't stay. So I gotta figure that out, because I'm assuming that's just the crankcase overflow, or the breather, or whatever it is. I'm assuming. And then yeah, so we got something leaking up here that will need addressed, because it's getting on the belt and everything. So that's not good. But outside of that, the coolant was good, oil was good. It had no blow by at all. All the joints look greased up. Man, everything was just cool as far as I'm concerned. No brake chambers leaking, none of that. Let's go to the other side. Over here, same thing. The fuel filter looks like it was serviced recently. Yeah, we will pull that apart and see exactly what we got going on. We'll clean it off, at least at a very minimum, clean it off, power wash it, and try to diagnose where it's coming from. I'm assuming since it's all down there, it's probably just coming from right up here. It could be the front of the valve cover or something, I'm not too sure. But the air filter appears to be pretty clean. The latches for the hood are working properly. I did have a problem with one of the headlights when I picked it up, but I think we got that squared away. That's working just fine now. I don't even think this is the OEM hood, because it's blue right here. So, and I don't think this is the OEM piece either, because it has white on it. But who knows? Anyways, I'm not gonna keep you guys all day. I just want to let you know that we finally accomplished it. I wasn't just blowing smoke this whole time. We definitely are getting into the multi-haul game, and we doing it, man. We doing it real big, and we're just gonna elevate and I want to take y'all with me. I'm excited to take y'all with me. And if you guys have any tips, if you've been through it, things that I need to know before I get out there, things I need to watch out for, please let me know. I don't even know how to load up a set of campers on a trailer, so I gotta figure that out. But I'm sure I will. You guys are always so helpful, and there's plenty of YouTube videos out here, so we'll get it done. But yeah, got the Volvo, got the cum dog, and hey, we just trying to be successful out here, baby. See y'all next time.